G'day, fellas. Welcome to an absolute insane casted game that I'm about to bring you. Spawning in the southwest of the map, it's Marine Lord, the StarCraft 2 Pro, and he is playing the English. His opponent, who is spawning on the opposite side of the map, the Mister. And he is playing the Abbasid Dynasty. Now, this game is live currently, right now. If I reveal the time for you guys, you'll actually see that the timer is going up right now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, this is live. I don't know if this is going to be insane or not, but I can tell you that these players are literally the top of their respective games. The Mister is the best Age of Mythology and Age of Empires online player that has ever existed. He is the undisputed best player in that game. There is literally nobody better than him. And Marine Lord, by the same token, is an incredibly talented StarCraft 2 player. Now, StarCraft 2 is a much larger community. So to say that you're the best at StarCraft 2, it's a very difficult thing to do because it is significantly larger than Age of Mythology and Age of Empires Online. And that's not to discredit the Mister in any way, because he's incredibly talented, but Marine Lord, I can't say he's the best. If I was going to think about best foreigners, I'd probably say Cyril, but Marine Lord is like up there. Incredibly up there, and that's why this is going to be such a good game. Now, the Mister is he's incredibly good at this game. He's only lost to 2 people so far. The first person that he has lost to is Give You Anxiety. Give You Anxiety actually lost previously to Marine Lord. So now Marine Lord is going up against the Mister. So like surely like the prophecy would be that Marine Lord must beat the Mister. Well, I'm not too sure. Now, I did mention earlier that only 2 people have beaten the Mister so far. Do you guys want to know who the second person is? Hey, it's me, boys. That's me. Yes, I did beat the Mister. Yes. Look, oh, you know, I brushed that one off on the shoulder. It wasn't too easy, but look, I'll be real with you guys. It was a hell of a challenge. He was playing an off civ. I was playing my main civ. I got a really good spawn. He got a really bad spawn. Look, I'm not going to say that it wasn't a fair match. It was a fair match. I thought it was a perfectly fair match. But nonetheless, these 2 players are incredibly talented players, and we are in for an incredible game. So I'm so excited to be able to bring you guys this, because this is the cutting edge of the meta that we are witnessing right here. Marine Lord going to be dropping down that forward council hall. You do see that he is opting for it over towards the front of his base. We'll take a look at what age up his opponent, the Mister, is going to be going up with. Going up with the military wing, and I love this. I really think military wing is the primary opener, or should be the primary opener for the Abbasid Dynasty. I really think it's so strong, and part of the reason why is because of this bad boy right here, Camel support. Camels increase the armor of nearby infantry by +1. Now that affects your archers, that affects your spears, your men-at-arms, absolutely any infantry unit, anything that runs around on 2 legs, it's going to affect, except for villagers. Actually, you know what? It probably does affect villagers as well. They're considered workers. I wonder if that affects villagers. We'll take a look at that. Probably not, actually. But nonetheless, I digress. So, what can we expect out of this? Now, I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint. The Mister is more inclined, in my experience, to go for a 1-base play. There is a couple of different openings that you can go for. Whether you go for a 2 TC straight out of the gate, that means that you chop stone, or you gather stone right out of the gate, and that is one of the openings that you go for, and you drop down that 2nd TC straight away. Now, we know he's not going to do that. Why do we know he's not going to do that? He's not going up with the economic wing. If he was doing that, he'd go economic wing. So he's not doing that. So he's thinking about 1-base play. So I'm expecting that we're probably going to be seeing a push from him of mainly archers and spears, and we're going to see a few camels in there to support, maybe 4 to 5 camels, and a potential ram timing as well from the Mister. That's what I'm going to be looking for, so we'll look to see how that goes, whether we do that or whether we see that. Over at the opponent's base, Marine Lord, again, I don't know much about Marine Lord in Age of Empires 4. I know how he plays in StarCraft 2, but when it comes to Age of Empires 4, I think I've only seen one of his game. The Mister reaching the feudal age at 4 minutes 40, a relatively competitive time, and Marine Lord here, going to be going up just shy of that, about 455. He should manage to get, actually, you know what? I take that back, about 502. He'll manage to get up there. But one of the things to note is that the English lend themselves to be a more defensive civilization. He actually just moved his villagers there. It's a little bit later than I thought it was going to be. Gosh, it feels like it just keeps going and going and going, managing to get up at 510, dropping down that barracks straight away. So I'm not sure. Let's take a look and see. He hasn't actually scouted out the military production of his opponent. He knows that he is playing the Abbasid, that it's likely that he could potentially open cavalry because he doesn't have any inclination, or not, he doesn't have any tendency towards a certain unit. So as an example, okay, the English, you can almost be guaranteed they're going to make longbows because their landmark, the Council Hall, is what they build to age up. So you know they're going to get 2 free archery ranges in this bad boy, so they're probably going to be making longbows. So as a result, Marine Lord is expecting, well, the Mister is probably going to be opening cavalry, and that's exactly what we've got. We've got a stable coming out, as well as an archery range for the Mister, going to be pushing out across the map. So Marine Lord not even doing any scouting whatsoever. So we look here, he has scouted this part of the map, but he has not been up here to spot these military drop-off, or these military production buildings. Now we see the 3rd military production building coming out. It is an archery range. I expect we're going to see a 4th one, which will be a barracks that gets dropped down, but now Mister going to be moving back with his horsemen, looking to potentially pick up this scout. Let's see if he manages to get the hit on it. First hit going to come in, but no real damage getting in there. Despite them being faster, the horsemen aren't going to really be able to do too much damage to the scouts because they do heal up. And now the spears beginning to push out with the longbows for Marine Lord, and he is having a damn good time right now because if we take a look at his base now, I think the question is at who wins this game, assuming that both of them play one base. I would say that probably the English would, because their transition to food is going to be good. They've got a very good age 3 landmark in the King's Palace, so very effective because you can expand and tech at the same time. And so that's going to give them a lot of not a lot of viability, but a lot of strength in the mid game. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Marine Lord, we can see, is a little bit behind in score, but honestly, at this stage, I wouldn't even be too worried about score. 27 villages at the moment for Marine Lord, 27 villages for the Mister. These guys do not miss a beat when it comes to training villagers. They know how important it is to keep their economy up to speed. More houses going to be going down for the Mister. Now, of course, he is already in that golden age. We see that he's hit 11 out of 30 right now, but he may potentially be looking for that next one. Already, we can see he's got that +1 upgrade. We talked about it earlier. Camel support is coming in. You can see the buff that stands on these camels right here. Infantry gain armor when near a camel unit. And this is one of the interesting things about this matchup, and I think part of the reason why it's interesting to open a stable here is it's kind of a bit like a fake out. You want your enemy to be making infantry because you make better infantry than him. Full stop. That is how you win the game. If you can get your enemy to make infantry, you also make infantry and you win the game from that, because that's where these buffs come up. So these buffs do not affect the horsemen. You can see they're sitting at 0-0. Archers are 1-1. And do not underestimate how much of a difference this really makes. Compare that to the longbow, who does +1 damage. Actually, does that just do out of the gate +1 damage? I think it does. Okay, I didn't realize longbows have +1 damage compared to archers. Marine Lord now going to be moving in. Does he have his attack move on? It looks like he's definitely paying attention right here, spotting out the scouts as they move in and firing off a few shots. So in addition to having that longer range, that extra attack is also there for the longbows, and now looking to try and push in underneath the town center. A couple villages are underneath that town center, but Marine Lord going to be forced back by the town center. Doesn't want to get too close. Just doing a little bit of scouting at these early stages. Managed to get a couple of shots onto this archer, but not too much damage coming out. So one of the things I would really love to see from the Mister is like just a full all-out archer push, like go mass archers. And it's kind of crazy to do it if you can, but if you can manage to hide your extra archery ranges, blacksmith going down for the Mister at the back here. And let's take a look at anything else that we've got. But if you can manage to hide those archery ranges and mass up like a crazy big mass of archers, you can push into the longbows. So one of the counters to longbows, it's a little bit weird that this is the way that it works, but it's just having more archers, having more stuff. Longbows are slower, 1.12 tiles versus the archers, 1.25. They will run them down. So you get that +1 armor. You're really going to be trading very effectively against them, and you're going to be able to overrun them. But already you can see just how big that mass of longbows is right now. Marine Lord looking pretty darn decent. But now the push coming out for Mister. He's having a little bit of a look. No scouts in that army. So actually, I take that back. There was a scout. I think I saw a scout in there. I'm not too sure. Actually, scout back here. So he doesn't actually spot that. Longbow's going to be outranging them. Now we've got the scout coming in for Marine Lord, just spotting them out, and both of them using their scouts to scout out each other's armies. One of those archers going to be going down, and you can see why it's so powerful to push in like this, because you're able to get those picks. A lot of peas right there. I'm glad I've got my pop filter to prevent those peas from I don't know, there's too many peas, but at this point, like, who's even worried? Archers now going to be looking to potentially hold up their defensive points. Mister actually moving in. There's not a lot of spears here. Mister actually looking pretty darn decent, running past, going to be able to pick these up. All of those spears going to be going down, and now he's in a bit of a difficult spot, Marine Lord, because he looks to fall back. He's trying to take out each of these archers one by one, but you can see they've got that +1 armor, so they just take so much less damage, and as a result, he's having a difficult time. Mister now going to be catching up on top of that scout, but going to be continuing to fall in. He's got his own scout in there on the action. Archers looking to pick off those spears. We do see them at the front line, continuing to chase back these longbowmen, and the Mister has definitely got Marine Lord on his toes right now, pushing him back against the edge of the ropes. These longbows are destined to be gone, going the way of the dodo, as he attempts to retreat towards his base, but remember, they've got that slower movement speed, so if you can outmass the English player, you can defeat the English player if he pushes out of his base. And now Marine Lord looks like he's in a difficult spot. His enemy is up a significant amount, 500 score. Well, it's just changed to 400, but a decent amount. And now an outpost going to be going down right on top of here. Villagers going to be going down. That's one villager going down, 2 villagers going down. More villagers here, potentially looking to defend, getting underneath the town center. He's got to be careful. He can't commit too much to this because there are double town center arrows that get fired. And look how fast those machine gun town centers fire, taking out 1, 2, 3, 4 horsemen all the way down. Holy moly, that town center absolutely goes crazy, doesn't she? Whew. All right, I'm going to need to take a sip after that one. I tell you what, these two guys don't leave much chance for me to get a breath in. Whew. Oh my lord. I tell you what, that was a pretty decent fight from the Mister. He looks very strong at this early stage in the game. And so now the question is, we've got ourselves a little bit of an expansion up towards the north. No expansion yet for Marine Lord. Mister already thinking about expansion, so going to be dropping down that town center about the 12-minute mark. Exactly what you'd expect from him. So not looking to do that all in timing push, and this is really going to secure the game for the Mister. So why is he doing this? What is the thinking behind this? So if you're able to take an early fight victory, you're able to get a significant military lead. This is a lot of resources right here. If your enemy wants to match you, he's going to need to rebuild that army with resources. And those same resources that your enemy is rebuilding his army with, you're going to be able to invest them in a town center. And subsequently, you're going to be able to build that economic lead. Now, Marine Lord is beginning to gather stone, but keep in mind, he has only just started gathering this stone, so he's going to be a little bit behind investing in this economic route. We'll take a look at how Mister is doing across the map. He's got villagers that are out on these berry bushes. Nothing out on this middle bush just yet. But a great pick on this map, just because there are quite a few berries out on the map. So as an example, you start off with berries in your base. You've got berries that you can expand. Oh my lord, the Mister is in absolute heaven right now. Holy cow. Look at that! Oh my lord, it's beautiful. Look at that. You're in literal berry heaven. You are in berry heaven, my friend. That is a lot. So the reason why it's so strong to pick the Delhi, or the Abbasid and the Delhi rather, on this map is just simply because of how many berries there are that spawn. You can see just 1, 2, 3, 4, starts with a 5th spawn. There's more in the middle of the map. We take a look at Marine Lord's base. He's got 1, 2 expansion, so he could have put a town center down here if he was on that spawn as well. Another forward, berry bush, and oh my lord, Mister is having an absolute field day out here. Going to be able to pick off a couple more villages and get in behind this wood line. You can see that they've chopped through the forest and are now getting line of sight through. And as a consequence, it means that he's going to be able to just continue to poke at these villages. He's going to need to find an alternative source of wood, and that looks like exactly what he's going to be doing down here towards the south of the map as he begins to expand. Holy moly, this is an absolute, I'm enjoying this so freaking much, man. You know, right now, I am 8 hours and 30 minutes through this stream, and I feel like I have just started. I'm having so much fun. Oh my god, I'm getting like little jitters down my spine and everything. A single horseman now going to be shooting at these 5 5 villagers. Now, one thing to note, okay, for anybody unfamiliar with why there would only be 5 villagers up here, you only want to make 1 outpost up here and only want to keep 5 villagers up here, because any more than that and they're just going to get killed off, because if a raid comes in, you're going to be able to jump in this outpost, but they can only hold 5 villagers. So once again, we see that horseman coming in, and he's going to be taking these villagers inside the outpost any second now. Here they go. There's 3 that move off. These 2, I don't know why they didn't get the memo that there's a horseman incoming and they need to get out of there, but nonetheless, they're going to be safe and they live for another day. As you see, the shots get off on that horseman. He's going to continue to potentially come back in and out, seeing if he can pick up a villager here or there. But if there was a 6th villager out there, it would mean that that villager would probably have died, because he would have been sitting idle underneath the outpost, and that's why it gets left that way. Now we take a look at Marine Lord. Marine Lord stacking up a lot of food at the moment, looking for that age up. Do we potentially see a King's Palace getting dropped down? If I was Marine Lord, I would be looking at doing a King's Palace probably down here somewhere on this wood line. Look at potentially securing this as well. It's going to be the best spot. I would not be looking at doing the White Castle, because I tell you what, I've had enough White Castle burgers in my life and I don't need any more. I don't know about Marine Lord though. Again, moving up under this tower towards the north. Looks like a villager's going to potentially be going down. Gets her dagger out. She looks like she's going to fall. Does she manage to make it? She makes it to the outpost, and you can see how important it is to have only those 5 villagers out here. That town center is going to go down. The King's Palace, it is indeed, and looking to secure a little bit more down here towards the south. So I think this is definitely a great spot. Stone outcropping together with a gold vein and the tree line really going to help him out here. Instead of moving a bit more towards this tree line, I'm sure he'll be able to secure this. Not really going to be a threat. And one of the great things we see about this is, oh my lord, we've got a little bit of a push. We'll worry about that a little bit later, because Marine Lord now going to be in a difficult spot because he's just aged up. He's literally just aged up right now. This is the worst timing. Marine Lord, Mr. knows about this as well. He sees his scout down here to the south. He's going to send more units down here. Horsemen going to be able to catch these villagers before this town center gets built and the age up completes. There's going to be no way that he manages to secure this. Both players remain in the second age. The Mr. says, hey, don't you dare think about leaving me behind. I need to catch you in the second age, and I need to make sure that you don't go any further than that. Now picking up the second ranged upgrade as well, going to give him a total of 2 armor against these longbows, reducing the amount of damage that they do. Actually, for some reason they went from 6 to 7, so +1 just coming through, so taking them back down. And now we see that the bows continue to be forced back, but the issue right now is this King's Palace is not getting built. Primary issue here is that King's Palace really getting scouted out by this scout. Marine Lord having a difficult time, Mr. knowing that he can push in right now. And one of the difficult things is that he's really stuck between a rock and a hard place, because if this town center goes down, he is going to be refunded resources, but he's going to lose a portion of those. He's going to need to reinvest in this. His age up should have happened already, and take a look at the Mr. already adding a second wing now. Going to be going up with the culture wing to the 3rd age behind this, and not going to be able to, or not being prevented. And more villagers now going down on the back line. Mr. has taken out 4 villagers over here, all while this fight was happening. I missed it, and Marine Lord missed it as well, only picking it up at the end. A single villager remains out on this hunt, and you can see why it's so important to have that incredibly high APM. And still, this King's Palace sits here uncontested. Finally now, villagers going to be coming out. 16 villagers from Marine Lord going to be coming out here, looking to finally finish up this King's Palace. But now we've got the age up coming through from the Mr. He is significantly ahead, and Marine Lord just calls good game. He says, I've had enough. Don't worry. Throws in the towel. The Mr. takes down the StarCraft 2 champion, and proving that Age of Empires Online players have got quite the hand that they have been dealt as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope that you've enjoyed the game. This has been an absolutely insane game. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.